cabbage rolls and coffee. Good.
Don't give me. What is that? Gomer Pyle?
That was Schmengi. It was.
Okay, that was a really good bit.
Schmengi.
I did not. I should not even be joking about that bit because I love that bit.
From the dark side of the Balkans.
Yeah. We'd like to thank Mrs. Schmooky for the cool. Schmengi. I'm Stan Schmengi. Tonight,
we're the Happy Wanderers.
Welcome to Thought Spiral 2017. Test. Test show 31.
Well played.
Test. Welcome to Thought Spiral.
Andy just woke up from a nap.
Tonight on Thought Spiral. Josh, Elvis Weinstein.
Andy Kindler.
And Andy Kindler. Tonight's topics are something they scroll down on an index card. Or maybe they didn't even have time. Didn't have time for that. Also, the band, Alex Brazell and the Showbriz. The Showbriz Horn Poppers. Hey, is Doc here? Doc is not here. Is Doc here? Doc is not here. Now, Josh.
Yes.
Tonight's show, we're going to be doing all impressions of other people's funny bits. We just did Schmengi. And now I did the We Are Crazy Men. Remember that one from Saturday Night Live? Yeah. We are the two crazy men.
We are super crazy guys.
And I'm not.
We are very, very not sane.
We're also wearing, this is hilarious, we're both wearing bee outfits, like in the old bee sketch.
Yes.
That was funny.
And in wheelchairs.
Why did you say that?
During SCTV crossover again.
I don't like when you say wheelchair, because I feel like it's in my future.
It could be. You could be the next Guy Caballero.
What if I just ended up in a wheel? Why do I say ended up?
Like by the end of the show, you mean?
No, what if that became my hook? Was the wheelchair guy. I'm wheelchair guy.
It's been done.
You sure it's been done?
So how was your trip?
It was great. Happy Thanksgiving.
To you too. It's about 10 days past for the listeners, but that's okay.
Why does it have to be? Why can't you coordinate the goddamn show? This show should be live. We should be taking callers.
Absolutely. I did actually tonight, just before you came. I put out on Twitter any questions or requests.
Oh,
so we'll be visiting that later. We'll go back to that.
That is pretty good. That's almost like planning. Wait a.
So you went back to New York.
I went back to New York. And ba-bum, and there's a 65 and 65 degree. How come all blues songs go ba-da, 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 bing?
I think you're thinking of every Flintstones episode.
And also, why there's a few songs that have the same hand jive.
The Bo Diddley riff?
Yeah. It's like,
dun, 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 dun,
love is real, will not fade away. Bum, bum.
That's the Bo Diddley riff.
Right, that's the Bo Diddley because he's like hand jive, right? Hand jive. Did you ever hear my version? Hand jive.
I'm hearing it.
Hand jive, and I'm doing my boom, 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 boom. I'm having a breakdown.
I can't tell you how many requests we got for us not to sing. Actually, after the Crosby, Stills, and Nash episode.
First of all. Did you see that wiseacre? Well, maybe I'll wait on that guy. The wiseacre who says, or maybe he's a friend of ours and he was joking. He goes, he quotes, birds and bees are animals. And then he goes, what else would they be? What did you think they were? Isn't that basically telling me that I'm stupid and that I shouldn't have even not known it? Or was he kidding?
No, I think he was calling you stupid.
Yeah. Like he's saying, it's unacceptable that I'm so stupid that I would not know that a fly is an animal.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what? I should have when I saw the size of the mosquitoes in Florida.
I right?
They're beasts. They're beasts. I had a great time back east. First of all, I stayed in my mother's house for one solid week.
Wow. That was
unbelievable.
That was fraught, I bet.
Because as everyone knows, I came out of the womb. I was like, woo, I'm a minute old. What else is in the news? And then I said, that's a tough womb. That's a tough womb. And then I said a whole bit about, you try living in my mother for 9 months and tell me, see if you don't come out with problems.
I'm still dead inside from tough womb, really.
Ooh, it's tough womb.
You lost me at tough womb.
First of all, nobody does puns better than me. I wish I could have put a pun in there. Nobody comes up with more clever. This is the way I'm going to talk about myself now, by the way.
More clever and other puns.
Yeah.
Is sort of how you do it.
Test show 30. That
was helpful.
I'm the moon doggy. Come on. Why can't we have that?
Because I didn't have a nap. I can't get there. I cannot get to where you just were.
Hey, doggy. Is that Wolfman Jack? Hey, doggy. How? Hey, hound dog. Can you be hound dog? And I could be.
Welcome to Hound Dog in the morning.
I hate anything in the morning when they say it like that.
Welcome to Hound Dog in the afternoon drive time slot.
Yeah. Don't forget, Josh and I will be down at Miller's Hardware store.
Miller's Hardware, where screws go to be screwed.
And we'll be down there all day long giving away the Josh and the Zoo. What's the name of our show? Josh and the Zoo?
Droopy and the Gang.
Zoo. And we're crazy, right? You have to be crazy.
Well, I was born crazy.
Is that your voice? You know, is it like Underdog?
That's my hang dog.
It sounds like
it's Droopy is really what I'm doing. But
you know, my nickname.
You took the gloss off it right there.
That's my cute little nickname as a boy because I had one eyelid that was half closed.
Really?
And I looked so cute until I hit 30.
I'm adorable.
Yeah, it was like half my eyelid was closed. Then they had it operated on.
Yeah. Is any of that true?
Yeah. It's all true. You know how you know it was true? It was a completely boring story. That's how you know.
Like a Johnny Cash song. They called him Droopy.
They called me Droopy. I saw him do a Christmas. Those must have been some good Christmas specials with Johnny Cash and his wife. I saw them on the TV.
Yeah.
They were wonderful. I did a show back in New York, Josh.
Yeah, at
Elvis,
Union Hall.
Weinstein. What?
At Union Hall?
At Union Hall. You know, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
Right?
But you made some money.
I made a little money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you how much. That would be rude. I grossed $1,800.
Excellent.
No, look, you people out there, maybe you don't make $1,800 a night like I do once a year by tweeting for 14 days straight, begging people who should get comps to pay.
Nice.
At Union Hall, and it was a lot of fun. I love that place, and I was nervous. I was very nervous about this year's show.
Yeah.
Because last year was...
Not so good.
How do you know that?
Yeah, just, intuition.
Are you going by what you've read?
Just playing the odds.
No, last year was pre-therapy, pre-Prozac.
Nice.
And I was on stage. I'm not exaggerating, Mr. Weinstein. Mr. Weinstein, please come in here, please. How was your Thanksgiving?
Please continue.
Mr. Weinstein, before you dot another T, put some more of that coal in the thing. What does he say? Mr. Weinstein, come in here. What? Am I being fired? No, I've changed. I've changed after all these years, Mr. Weinstein. How much am I paying you? Like, not a lot. Let's change it. Now, you go put more. What do they have? The heat of the office in the
coal in the stove?
Yes, before you dot one more T.
Thank you, Mr. Scrooge.
Why is he dotting T's? So, okay, so that was pre.
So $1,800, but last year.
Look, I paid, and that's before I paid out of the person who Nori Davis was very funny.
Yeah.
And do you know about Jen Kirkman? Are you familiar
I am a little
with
familiar with Jen Kirkman?
You know whose comedy I love?
Who's that?
Do you know Jen Kirkman?
Oh, Jen Kirkman. Yeah.
I'd like to give her a shout out.
You should.
Jen Kirkman really is my hero. I can't believe that I hadn't given her a shout. Well, first of all, what do you mean I can't? Like, it doesn't mean anything to anybody, the shouts out.
Once they say it means something to them, they're in, as far as I'm concerned.
I saw Andy Levy.
Andy, he doesn't care.
He was here. He was at my show.
Yeah.
Only because.
But he hasn't heard your shout outs.
I forgot if he listened. I think he has listened to the. All I know is that it got him to actually pay And he was somebody who should not pay.
Yeah.
He should definitely have been comped.
Oh, well.
I mean, and then I had Aparna Nancherla, who I know I'm so scared to pronounce her name. Aparna, I know I'm getting right. But I go, Nancherla! And then it's not like that. She's hilarious. She was hilarious just sitting in the crowd watching me last weekend. But the year ago, it was pre-therapy.
Yeah.
And pre-Prozac, and it was a horrible show I had. I thought it was horrible because all I was doing was this. I kept saying, was that funny or?
That's not a good sign.
It was that I was starting to get to that point.
Yeah.
Where, it was affecting my
confidence.
No, it was affecting my comedy. My anxiety was affecting my comedy. So but now I do have a new affliction, and I'm going to ask you if you can guess what my new affliction is. You know what it is, actually, but it's just been getting worse and worse and worse and worse as the year has progressed. What is my affliction?
Your fucked up memory.
Yes. So I kept starting a bit, literally, and I've been looking up at does dementia when you forget the bit that you're doing, or you forget the last thing you said? I don't know. But I kept forgetting, but I made a breakthrough, Josh. I made a breakthrough because I said, I have to tell these people what's going on.
Yeah.
So I told the people what was going on, and I made it into a little game. I don't think it was entertaining, but I had the audience, every time I forget something, I say, what was I saying? Now,
I've seen you do that before, and generally there is someone who is paying enough attention to cue you.
Right, but this one
better than me at it for sure.
And I kept, I was kept exploring this. I thought this was fascinating to explore. No, it wasn't that it was fascinating to explore on stage, but I couldn't. It's like the elephant in the room. I don't know what that means, but granted, 20 minutes into it. Well, someone asked me afterwards, "Is that a bit you're doing?"
It is now. And you went, what? Doing what?
Forgetting your bit. Is that what you do? Is that a bit? I said, unfortunately,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Unfortunately, it's not. The Glenn Campbell joke? Boom. I did a Glenn Campbell joke. I don't even know what I meant by it.
That's not cool, man.
You know what it is? Here's the thing. It is not cool to make fun of dementia.
Right.
But is it okay to say that it's around?
It's living out loud.
What'd you say?
I said it's living out loud.
Wait, are you auditioning for NPR?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
What role? What part do they have?
The Forgetful Table.
Tonight on the Forgetful Table, I will try to remember some turkey recipes.
Something. What's a turkey?
Hey, once again, turkey. Had the turkey.
Hey, you put the turkey in the oven. Hey, there's my keys.
What's that? I don't get that one either. Is that based on me forgetting things?
It's an Alzheimer's, people put their keys in the refrigerator.
I did find an item that I didn't buy at the airport that looked
that you
like
stole.
Let's just say I borrowed it. Look, those basketball players, they're hip. They stole stuff from China.
Right.
I want to be hip.
Didn't help them.
I should have left you in jail. I should have had you transferred to North Korea.
Merry Christmas in jail.
No, it was a thing. I didn't buy it, but it was a find your keys and your phone. Never lose your keys and phone again.
Yeah.
And it looked like a disc of some type.
Right.
So how does it work?
It's a little RF device.
Don't lie to me. If you don't know the answer, just say you don't know. Don't say it's an RF device.
Okay.
What it means, a radio frequency device, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And what does it do? You stick it on but what do you have on the actual phone?
I think you get an app that reads the location.
Oh, it's an app.
I think it comes with some sort of app.
Yeah, but what is the thing itself that I'm buying? It's a disc.
It's like, or a little card almost that you can attach to things or.
So you have to have it on your phone?
Yeah.
So then that doesn't look cool.
It's not as good, no.
Now, why is that guy got a dot?
Huh?
There's a lot of things people have now. I have a couple of them. I haven't used them. Maybe you want one. It's like a wrist thing that holds your phone to your hand. It's like
I have an opposable thumb for that.
No. But this is supposed to take the opposable thumb. You know how the opposable thumb didn't work out? Now it's back.
No.
It's like you don't have to have 2 hands holding the phone or something like that.
Wow. And you bought one of these?
No, I got those free at a comedy festival.
Huh.
Where it says, where I'm advertising.
Now you can write down your gigs when you're talking to your agent.
Is that how they pitched it?
I was guessing at the comedy festival. I was trying to figure out why it was appropriate there.
Well, there's nothing. Well, I used to go to comedy festivals before all the sexual harassment things happened.
Yeah.
I used to give out condoms. That's not hilarious anymore, is it? Not as funny.
It's lost its luster.
It's lost its luster. You know what would be hilarious? We'll give out condoms. You know what was one year, though, I thought was very thoughtful is they also gave out IUDs at the same festival.
That's very equal.
It was the ID channel. The interest in investigation discovery. Oh, God. You know, there's something to be said about that you can't always come up with something funny to say.
Yeah.
I think I proved it.
There's something to be said for that.
Well, what do you think about that wiseacre, though, who was yelling at me about... What, you didn't see that comment, did you?
Yelling at you about... it was just... Well, it was a comment of someone else going... Try to tell what animals are, and then he went as opposed.
But basically...
No, but I mean, yeah, it came down to you were stupid.
So I should from now on...
Or someone who didn't know that would be stupid.
Stupid, right?
Yeah.
So from now on I should just hide my stupidity?
No, you should stop reading Twitter.
No, but I mean, it's like I didn't say several people, celebrities have said the earth is flat.
Yeah.
And then they had to withdraw the statement.
How much room is left in your little grudge bag for that comment?
No, no, that's gone. That's probably gone. I went back, though. I did ask the crowd about that joke. And the joke was, to remind everybody.
Yeah.
The joke was, regarding Louis C.K.'s extracurricular activities. I feel the same way about those as I feel about Horace and Pete. I just don't get it.
Right.
So I asked the crowd, because why not take up time during the show with a useless exercise? What do you think she was saying? And after the show, a friend of ours, Mike, came up with the answer.
Yeah.
She thought I was saying I saw him doing this in front of people like as if it's equal to a bad television show.
Right.
Like there's nothing wrong with the activity itself, except that it's boring. My point was I didn't get.
Right. I think we came to that last week on the show too. Yeah.
Oh damn it! Because my thing was I didn't get why how he got off on this. I don't understand it.
Right.
That was my
No, I think
point.
I understood your point.
Well, my point is always who couldn't understand my points?
Right.
They're not like deep.
Sexual abuse is good. Florida is bad. We get your points.
Oh, yeah. Remember that time? Remember that time you turned towards me darkly? Oh, I guess, you didn't know. Oh, you thought when you tweeted, hey, Florida, I hope you all drown.
There might be some blowback.
Hey, Florida, when the storm comes, I hope it drowns every one of you. Oh, I'm the bad guy now?
So did the entire Kindler clan assemble for Thanksgiving?
My mom is born in 1929, so she's, how old is she? 88? So, she's doing good.
Good.
But she can't have the Thanksgiving that we used to have over at our house for 50, I think we had it was always at our house for 50 years.
Yeah.
Have I talked about this before? Were we up and running last Thanksgiving?
We were not. We were not.
We were
up last week.
Yeah, we used to have my mother's 2 sisters and their families used to come over. But now we went to my brother's house.
Yeah.
And he had a nice spread.
Yeah.
And that's it. I wish there was something entertaining I could say.
Yeah, mine wasn't entertaining either.
What'd you do?
I cooked
here.
I cooked here, yeah, for in-laws and stepkid and godson. And
is this what you call these people? You call them godsons?
No, but calling them by their first name wouldn't really help the listeners, would it?
And was everyone raving about the food?
Oh, yes.
And let me ask you a question. Did you do yourself or outdo yourself?
I did myself in, actually.
Did you take it to another level, your cooking?
I took it to a similar level as the previous 20 Thanksgivings.
But did you say, at any point, first of all, at any point you wear a smock or a headband, or do you say bam?
None of the above.
None of the above.
I'm proud to say, yes.
And you already told me what you cooked, but I don't have no idea.
Yeah, it was no fun telling you.
But it was a good turkey. Was it
it was an excellent turkey.
Butterball, I assume?
I actually got a kosher turkey this time.
Kosher turkey.
Because of the koshering process is like a dry brine almost. So.
Ask me what does it mean, a kosher turkey?
What does it mean?
Oh, it means that the turkeys themselves have separate dishes when they're alive. What's the difference between halal and kosher? It's a similar thing, right?
It's a similar thing.
That's right. But we have so much division in the world right now. Let's pretend that Muslims are making us change kosher to halal and won't say Merry Christmas.
Right.
And let's get that going. This ends now, halal lovers.
We are living under Sharia secularism, which is
right.
weird.
Sharia law. Every once in a while, when I see like the way people in my building will not crush down a box.
Yeah.
They won't crush down a box. You understand that a recycling bin, that if you have an empty refrigerator box, that disposing of it in the recycle bin does not constitute you putting it next to the bin or trying to wedge it into the bin.
I hope you made a sign to that effect.
There's signs all over the place. I'm like the old man in the building who's going to blow one day. I can't stand it. Except for what's going on in Myanmar and stuff. It's the worst, except for actual death.
Right.
It's the worst thing. I wouldn't mind Sharia law for those people. Now, I don't know what that would mean.
It would probably mean a sign again.
No, Sharia law, I could take off a foot. An
emphatic sign.
I could take off a foot.
Yeah, that's true. You could take off a foot jumping into the dumpster to break down the thing.
Would that steam you if you were, of course, you're not a part of the rent. Well, I'm not renting.
No.
Let's not kid ourselves, folks. I bought a condo.
Ha! No, I'm part of the freestanding crowd.
So but wouldn't that bother you, though?
Sure. Or how about when people say, not enough to like tell a fucking story about it, but yeah, it would bother me.
Oh my God. You told me you love these delightful trivials of slices of life. Okay, so like I'm walking down the street, if I see someone has just put their horrible couch outside,
yeah,
it enrages me. It enrages me. They think, what are they thinking? You have to call 611 or whatever the hell.
No, it's pretty honest to God. If you put something of any sort of value out on your curb for overnight, there's a good chance it'll get picked up.
It's not. What's valuable? Okay, I'll give you an example. What's valuable about one top mattress?
Oh, nothing.
Right. So what's that guy thinking?
I actually saw a couch on fire outside, right across the street from your house once. Like about 3 or 4 months ago. I was driving up that street that you're on.
Right.
And there was like literally a couch on its end.
Yeah.
Ablaze.
and then was anyone saying it? Was everybody just hanging around?
There was a couple of people taking phone pictures of it.
What's happening outside my house?
I don't know, but it was very cinematic because it was like golden hour too.
Oh, the lighting was good.
The lighting was fantastic.
Well, the thing is, when I drove here tonight, I noticed that there's not a goddamn, and I'm going to curse, there's not a goddamn street light on your street. There's not a street light.
No, there used to be. I don't know what happened. I think there's something.
What do you mean there used to be?
There are street lights. They're no longer lit anymore. This really is becoming a terrible neighborhood.
So in other words, my fear, I was feeling guilty about not wanting to walk in the dark.
Yeah. No, that's still pretty wussy.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's the dark. Anybody, if someone wants to
you could wear a miner's helmet.
But someone could want to. You admit that even someone I know might want to punch me, right?
Sure. I think that's more likely than
not.
Yeah.
I've said something obnoxious in the world.
Right.
If they're going to get me, they're going to get me when it's dark, Josh. That's when I'm not going to see them.
Yeah, but that's when you're awake.
But There's bushes. You have creepy bushes, no lights. I tried to walk home one night from your house, going down Main Street.
Man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were.
Are you comparing me to the old man in that Neil Young song?
No, I hadn't thought of it, but yeah, I guess that would be an apt comparison.
Have you ever heard the song For What It's Worth?
Sure.
Neil Young, it took me about 2 hours online.
This, yeah.
God damn it. He does a great, did I mention the vibrato pedal?
Yeah.
Well, now you have to cut it. Would you cut it out now, or would you use it as an example of my deteriorating mind?
I don't know. I'm trying to, I always try, that's always a week by week decision. If it feels like it should go into the document, or, or if it's just repeat bullshit.
When did you do your gig?
At the Wiltern?
Yeah, for Tom Segura?
Yes.
How many?
Same night you were doing your gig.
Oh, I didn't promote yours.
No.
I'm not.
Didn't need to. Sold out the Wiltern.
Excuse me?
Sold out the Wiltern.
I sold out. How many seats are in the Wiltern?
1,800.
Yeah. Ask me how many seats were in my venue.
How many seats in your venue?
100. I sold both shows out.
Nice.
Not really, but almost. 100.
Yeah.
So who's the bigger star? Tom Segura. Why do I ask obvious questions like that? And were they going crazy?
It was really fun, yeah.
And did they love you?
Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I hate to
No,
be
I don't
immodest,
mean. Well, you're not a guy who
No, I had a
says-
really good set. It was really fun.
That's great. Did he pay you half of the gate?
Yes, half the gate. It was the deal. And
That's what I pay my person who opens up.
and I even got the good ad lib in at the top because the guy who was emceeing it introduced me as Weinstein.
Oh my God!
So I go up and I go, I have to correct you. I pronounce my name Weinstein. Big laugh.
Why would that get a big
Just
laugh?
because
of your rhythm?
I said it,
Oh, right.
Weinstein.
Right, right.
And it's L.A., so they're hip to that. And then
What are they hip to that? What are they hip to that about?
So I said Weinstein, got the laugh, and then went for the last 6 weeks. So you blew it by getting all of them up, jumping up in my shit.
I knew I was stopping your joke. I felt terrible about it. But for the last 6 weeks, since Harvey's trouble started.
Yeah, well, the 1,800 people got it a lot fucking faster than you.
But you said they were laughing. So you think when they started laughing initially.
I'm saying 2 laughs I got.
But they,
two laughs.
does that
Two
mean they saw
distinct
where it was
laughs.
going? Did they see
No.
where it was going?
No.
Well, it's interesting because since that has happened, I've changed my first name to Harvey. You see how I do anti-comedy?
Yes.
So 1,800 people exploded. That is a great theater, by the way, the Wiltern Theater.
Yeah, it was super. I've seen so many shows there, which is part of the thrill of doing it.
Yeah, I think I've seen Dylan there. I think I've seen Van Morrison there.
Yeah.
But I won't go see Van Morrison. I've told you this before, right?
Yeah.
I have?
Yes.
What was the story? Astro Weeks.
Yes.
He was recording Astro Weeks, and you couldn't hear him. And it was at the Hollywood Bowl. I don't want to go back to the Hollywood Bowl. There's something. They're trying to get. They're too excited about wanting to have you go back to the bowl.
I've never had fun going to the Hollywood Bowl.
Even when the Beatles were there.
Well, then it was fun, but I was hoarse from screaming.
So that was fun, and he had fun.
Yes.
And then
And Christina P., his wife, did a set too, which was also fun.
Oh, I know her. I believe. What's her last name?
She goes by Christina P., but Przitsky.
Yes, I do know her.
Yes.
So a good time was had by all there. I don't know why I can't say regular things.
Yes, a good time was had by
Why
all.
would someone say that? If anybody liked our podcast and they turned it on now, why would they listen to it? A good time was had by all. Yeah. Don't forget, at the end of the year, we're doing a whole show as Edward G. Robinson.
Thought Spiral, episode 42. Yeah.
Great. I'm going to put a grapefruit in your face. Why was that such a great scene?
I don't think it was.
Was that Garfield? The cat? John Garfield, in some movie,
Right.
he sticks a lemon in people's face. In a woman's face. Or something. Or maybe I'm mixing it up. Maybe it was Spencer Tracy. You see what happened now? This is what the spiral means in Thought Spiral.
Yeah. Oh, I think people knew.
And do you think they did?
I think they did.
After 30 minutes, I start to spiral, but not in a delightful way.
Right. Because you talk about how you're spiraling.
Yeah, going down.
Right.
But why couldn't I?
You don't necessarily need to narrate that.
Don't you think that's what people like about me? Is my honesty?
To a point.
You're making it sound like you have your finger on the pulse of why I'm a huge star. I don't like this character. I keep trying to pull it off again. It's like the egomaniac guy.
Yeah, it's a character.
But why? The people who do it well are like John Larroquette.
Yeah.
That's my most recent reference.
I loved the left fielditude of it.
John Larroquette or Dabney Coleman would be another person who plays a bad guy well.
Right.
A villain.
Many years ago.
Yes, in the movie 9 to 5. But also in other things. What else was he?
Buffalo Bill.
That was a good show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about other shows that we liked. I don't feel well now, too, Josh.
What's wrong?
I haven't been feeling well now for a week. If I die, I'm not saying I will, but if I die, remember I told you I wasn't feeling well.
Okay.
It's a little. I'm having a little panicky attacks. Not right now.
Okay. Tell me if it's happening.
Have you?
We can take a break.
Have we talked about panic attacks?
We can. I mean, yes, but
okay.
Not in a while.
Here's my new thing. I don't have a new thing. I'm in therapy. Things are going well. First of all, she said she thinks I'm going to get the best mark on the test at the end of the year.
Good. Excellent.
But I get worried before a show. Let's say it's Thursday, and I have that show. I do that show once a year in New York. So it's like, to me, there would be no way I could ever cancel that one show. So if I get a little indigestion, I go, oh my God, I'm panicked. Something's going to happen worse. And then that causes the panic.
Sorry, folks. Canceled due to esophagitis. 3 days before the show.
Is it really an esophagitis?
Yes, there is.
Because have you ever listened to Chris Collingsworth on football?
Yeah.
He sounds like gastritis. He sounds like gastritis if it looked like something. This is what he sounds like. His voice gives me gastritis. You going down, Chris Collingsworth?
You've been kindled.
Oh, you got... Nobody is safe from my half-baked wit. So, I've been getting a little bit panicky, so I have to figure out what's going on. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
What do you think it is? That's not the way therapy works.
But you mean you've been panicky just before shows?
Oh, yeah. I guess what I meant to say was, as I get better emotionally, which I think I am getting better, and not living in panic. I think I used to live in panic my whole life, like just 1 second away from panic.
Right.
You know, everything's okay now, but so as I'm moving to where I feel like I'm more in touch with my feelings and all this kind of stuff, but there still seems to be this big thing of if you did this, it would be the end of the world. If you canceled that show on Saturday, it's the end of the world.
Right.
And I don't think everybody has that.
No, that's a weird game to play with yourself, sort of.
Would you if you started to feel sick a couple of days before the Segura thing, how worried would you get?
Not very.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be like, oh, I hope it's better that day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't assume it's going to get worse, or
right.
I would be like, I'd be a game time cold medicine taker, and I would hope that the adrenaline takes care of the rest.
Oh, but so in other words, you would say to yourself, the show must go on.
Yeah,
so,
no part of me would go, oh, I might have to cancel this show.
Well, but see, mine is an obsessive fear.
Right.
What if I do have to cancel? I had to cancel one show, Josh, because I had an appendix removed.
Yeah.
And that still, to me, did not seem... They still asked for a doctor's note.
Right.
And you know what else they asked for? The appendix in a solution.
I've seen you miss the beginning of a set because you went back to the hotel to take a shit.
That would... I don't use the bathroom, so I don't know what you're talking about. But that was very embarrassing. I wanted to go back to the hotel, not for what he was saying. I don't want to imagine anybody in the bathroom. So I go back there, and I timed it. And I timed it that exactly. My thing was, I'll come back exactly when I'm supposed to come back. It was terrible.
It was funny.
And I was worried, too, that it would be, that people would hate me.
Yeah.
But not really.
No, they didn't hate you.
But that's the only time it's happened, was that and the appendix.
Yeah, well, there you go. In 30 years, I think you can give yourself a fucking break.
Well, I'd like to give myself a break.
I mean, I won't give you a break, but you should give yourself a break.
Well, you're not. I mean, that's our relationship, is for you to give me the business. This guy's giving me the business. But this whole unnatural fear of things that you shouldn't be scared about is, I think, as I'm getting better and I'm in therapy, I think it's like maybe you have to get a little worse sometimes. Or
I always feel like this, and I've seen it with my wife when she's dealt with anxiety, is it actually is sort of a sign of getting better. It's like your brain, like, trying to cling on to that energy, that warm, shitty place.
Right.
You know, so now it has to, like, it's like a dream where it has to, like, come up with something really fucking quick.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, why is that guy there? Because central casting couldn't come up with anybody quick enough. And I think it's that same sort of thing where it's like you still need that sort of, that rush of adrenaline, or that, you know, that clong, you know, but it's about bullshit now, you know, it's about less and less important things, but it's the same feeling, just sort of like, you know, grasping at emotional straws inside, you know.
That sounds good. That sounds very, first of all, hopeful, because I thought, it's curtains for me. I'll never get better. No, that makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Well, and it makes sense, you know, and it makes sense that it's getting more specific.
Yeah.
You know, that it's about a show, or it's, you know, as opposed to just generalized anxiety about everything.
Well, I realize that I worry about these, I gave my mother needed cash, right? So I got paid.
And she knew you had $1,800 because you told her, I'm telling everybody.
She said, can you go to the bank for me? But I couldn't go to the bank for her. So I gave her $600.
Okay.
And then, I knew she was going to write me a check, but I couldn't stop worrying.
That she was.
What if she's not going to give me that check? And what if that's the one check that that I lose my condo?
Right.
Which doesn't sound like that horrible when you say it that way. But I do have that. I don't know if it's is it left over from the depression? Is it, what is that? Is that just natural that I mean, I trust my mother.
Right.
Somewhat. But the other part of me is like, then I feel bad. Why are you First of all, maybe you shouldn't have even asked for the money back from your mother.
All right.
Why are you even asking? I didn't ask for that. Well, I put out the antenna that it wouldn't be bad if I got the money back. Right. Yeah, it wasn't like, Mom, my treat.
Put a Post-it note on your forehead.
So what happened was I got 2 checks, and I didn't keep both. Yeah. But that's kind of a signal from the universe. Maybe we don't worry about it so much.
You got 2 checks. She wrote you 2 checks.
She wrote a check on my
sister.
No, my. Oh, this happens all day. Mom, you forgot that.
It's the absent-minded waiter.
One day it was $15,000. No, my mom and my sister have a joint account.
Okay.
So they can both write. My sister does the lion's share, if that's the right word, of taking care of my mom.
Right.
Orders the food.
Right.
I'm available should my mom need help.
Right.
But she doesn't. You know why she doesn't call me for help?
Because you're in California.
Yeah, she knows that there's nothing I can tell her vocally.
Right.
Even though I could help her with an online order. You know, she orders food and stuff like that.
Sure.
So.
That's not that much help, though, really.
No. Well, why do you put down the 1 or 2 things I could do?
Because she clearly doesn't need them.
Oh, I also give her the
money's nice.
What's that?
The money's nice. You could slip her $600 or something.
I don't want to slip her. I want to make sure she pays back, and I want to make an end. Maybe I went too far with the IOU.
Mom, I need the money back. Andy Levy paid good money for that.
Maybe I shouldn't have insisted on a notary public. I mean, maybe that was
right. That's a little déclassé, perhaps.
So, I think that, well, everybody worries about money though, right? But I couldn't believe that. I just saw it as OCD because I spent 2 or 3 hours thinking about it. Right. I know it's not about that. It can't possibly be about that. So I just was like thinking in my mind, I'm more aware of when my mind is going through useless worrying.
Right.
And that is doesn't make me all well.
It sounds like the second voice is the one you need to work on more, though.
What's that?
I mean, the first voice is worrying about the thing, and then the second voice is going, "You're a terrible person for worrying about this."
Oh, that's true.
And maybe if you use that second voice to go, "Okay, what would happen? What's the worst that
What's the worst that can happen?"
Right, and talking it through to the logical conclusion of the question.
Well, if anybody needs to know what the main thing I've learned from therapy is, which I probably said before, and I don't care. I'm so tired of you clamping down. You sent me a list of words that I've used before and said, do not use these words anymore. But what I've learned is that the feeling that I don't have the feeling anymore like I say to myself, you're a bad person. I don't say that to myself that I used to say, I think, to myself. I would argue with myself about whether I was a horrible person.
Right. But you have a big voice that goes, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So all I know is that I know I can't go through my life parenting myself that way, or whatever you want to call it. I have to be able to say, I'm not a terrible person for A, B, C, and D. I mean, look, I did try to stab an old nun.
Right. But an old nun.
An old nun!
Right.
And very annoying. And I'm not in the habit of stabbing nuns.
Oh, God damn you. Literally.
Wipe out!
So, but here's the main thing. Here's the main thing that I think is the key to me getting healthy as a person. Just as I say to myself, I'm not a horrible person, I need to also say that about the people in my life. Not that I say verbally they're horrible people.
Right.
Unless it's Hitler.
Sure. In your life.
This idea that everybody has to be perfect or they suck.
Right.
Me. I have to be perfect. Or not, I don't say people suck, but I go, oh, that person showed, let's say the old me, when you had said to me, Andy, please get back in touch with me faster.
Right.
10 years ago, I might have got mad.
Right.
What is he saying? And I would have to either convince myself that you're wrong for doing that,
right,
and yell at you for doing it.
I mean, the fact that you're using it as an example 6 months later tells me a little something.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. You know. I'm saying strike one. Is what I'm saying. So realizing that is, and the other thing is, I cannot control people,
right,
and what they're doing, and the desire to control them, I think, is the most exhausting thing I've done in my life.
Yeah, and
not knowing I was controlling people, not knowing I was controlling them.
Right.
Do you feel? You don't seem controlling to me.
I don't know. I mean, I know that I'm control freaky in my way.
Yeah, but that's like you do have your own. Do you call it OCD or do you call it?
I don't know what I got.
Yeah, you don't know what you got. But it's not. But you weren't taught that you're a good person. Somehow I got the message as a youngster that you're a good person depending on your actions.
Right. No, I felt unconditionally loved growing up, for sure.
And that's why you're healthier than me.
The control freak thing is just like, I like being in charge. It's not like it's not that I need to micromanage people necessarily.
Oh, I've never seen that part of you.
Yes, I know.
What was my memory? Let me see. I said something about concerning rental cars, and you went, I know how to rent a goddamn car, yes, asshole.
Yes.
Been renting cars since before you were born.
That's an example of
how
it might manifest itself.
Because you feel less than as a person,
that was
you have to make me feel bad.
That was our two profiles clashing in that exchange. That was our two weak spots brushing up against each other.
Well, it's also funny to... It's also funny.
You might have to. Sometimes the airport is different from the rental car, and you'll never know. And no, I say don't even go to bed.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know why you were waving around your hands during that impression. But the thing is that I think it's funny. Not funny. It's interesting if you have a close friendship to notice something you didn't notice before. Right. I didn't know that about you before, because there could be 100 other people who would just. Maybe just because they can't stop me, they'd let me.
Yeah, that might be it. Because I think I went for the first 3-4 minutes of it.
You did not. Yes, you did. You did. Because anything I'm talking about with you, the first 3 or 4 minutes, you just can't stop it.
Right.
I'm into it.
Exactly. He'll cry himself out.
It's like, Josh, some of these, sometimes when they say the rental car's at the airport, it's not at the airport. Josh, it's off airport. It's a lie. Can you pick any
shuttles involved?
Can you pick any car in the aisle, Josh?
No, Andy.
That's what the commercial says.
I'm worried they won't let me pick any car on the aisle.
Well,
I'll be assigned a car.
Are you a member of the Hertz Club or something like that?
I was for a while.
And what did you get free from that?
You get to just go straight to your car as opposed to checking.
That should be something
it's not a bad thing.
I still haven't gotten the pre-TSA thing.
I haven't either.
I
haven't been traveling frequently enough.
I know, but I travel frequently enough to get it.
Yeah.
Is it that hard to get?
I don't think it is.
No, and I want to get Global Entry or Nexus or whatever so I can, you know what I'm saying? So I go into Canada, easy as you please.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I've got
Welcome, Mr. Kindler. Welcome back.
Anyway, the point is, Josh, I'm on the road to recovery.
Well, very happy.
No, but the thing is, my judge. Okay, so here's a bigger topic I could talk to you about.
Okay.
Unless you want me to stop dominating everything. The idea of thinking you're I think what I've done my whole life is when I used to do the speech in Montreal, and I know I've maybe talked about this before, but when I used to do the speech in Montreal, I could very easily get into the mode of it has to be right what I'm saying, you know?
Right.
I have to be right because Jay Leno took away David Letterman's spot. It's right that I'm going after him. And I would struggle with myself, about whether it was right or not. And I would get very defensive if people...
self-righteous, one might even say.
But because I would try to take this position of that when comedy's right, it's justified. But the truth is, now I realize I can say something funny and it can also be hurtful, or it doesn't mean I'm not going to say it. But there's no clean way of doing this. So like when I used to make fun of Louis C.K., like I was saying on stage this last weekend, when I was making fun of him when it was just based on bitterness and envy and jealousy,
right?
You know, but I was noticing things about him, about his career, and how I felt he was marketing himself. And I feel like it was legitimate that I made jokes about it. But what I don't like about how I was then was the constant fight in me. It's like part of me was saying, that's not it. You're just jealous of Louis C.K.
Right.
You're just jealous of Louis C.K. That's not the truth. Right. It wasn't that I was just jealous of Louis C.K. I was legitimately... not upset, but aghast that the world was embracing this guy. It's like he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, calling him the greatest comic in the world, and just celebrating everything that he did to the point where I think he feels whatever I do was genius.
Right.
You know?
And that's the downside of control freakery.
That's exactly true. When you can't let any... A lot of people are that way in show business.
Well,
especially.
I got to tell you, I got a movie coming out tomorrow. If you're listening,
tomorrow for real?
Tomorrow if you're listening to this podcast, the 5th.
Oh wow,
the 5th of December. And I wrote, directed, and edited it. So
right.
It's that kind of control freakery at play there.
Yeah, but you know that here's the thing.
And I'm worried,
Are you worried about? Yeah, because of
because it's about to be out in the world. I'm not worried. I'm just like, I'm kind of nervous about finally getting a movie out.
But here's where you are a positive artist. I'm an artisanal artist. I said that the other day. I got a laugh by saying I'm an artisanal artist.
You're in Brooklyn. That's why.
That's right. Oh, I didn't even think about it. But I've worked with a lot of people who are they're talented people, but they're on some level so insecure that they can't let you. They don't want your feedback in a way.
Right.
I think in a way that's the way Louis C.K. was, because I heard him once on Maron talk for 2 hours about Horace and Pete and all these. I think he just convinced himself that an auteur is someone who does whatever.
Well,
they
and
feel.
to some extent it is, you know, but judgment comes along with that.
Right, but you, can I talk about the joke that you told me to stop talking about?
Sure.
Okay. This joke has been quoted more times than any joke I've ever made. It's in the New York Times. It's in the middle of the thing. As Andy Kindler said about the Netflix generation, I'm so excited. Netflix is making a new half hour every week, so America gets to watch America.
So you can binge watch America getting sick of comedy again.
Right. I can't even remember the line. So, if there are people who could say, I don't trust anyone to write for me. I guess people have writers and stuff. But the fact is that I want to collaborate.
Yeah.
So whatever emotional problems I have don't get in the way of...
His point being I wrote that joke, by the way.
Yes, I'm sorry. So anyway, Josh wrote that joke. And this is one of those jokes that we both knew were great. You know, I think we knew that was a winner.
No, yeah.
But there was like a little bit, you know, I'm not used to this type of, I'm not used to collaborating that much. So the fact that, I mean, the New York Times quoted it and another article, a Split-Sider quoted it. Really? And it's just something funny when they go, as Andy Kindler says, and then I know there's something wrong with me that I feel like you said to me, you texted me, you said, enjoy it. It's your joke now, just enjoy it. Right. And that is true.
Yeah.
Because it's not less, the fact that I delivered the joke doesn't mean I wrote the joke, but it just doesn't matter at one point. It doesn't matter if you're a collaborative person.
No, I wrote it as an Andy Kindler joke.
Right.
So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, once you did it, it was an Andy Kindler joke. And yes, I take satisfaction when it gets quoted, but I don't feel at all bad that that it's getting quoted as Andy Kindler's joke.
It's pretty amazing though, isn't it?
It makes me feel like I succeeded at writing an Andy Kindler joke, which was my goal, you know.
It didn't look. Do I want it to be the best joke I ever wrote? No. I mean, is it some reviews actually said that they were surprised at the level of the joke.
Right. There's 5 or 6 jokes in this thing that are especially good.
Andy's really upped his game. But, and when you edited the, I Wish I Was Bitter, I was not closed. I think I can be closed, but I allowed the control to give up control. So I think
You did, and you said the greatest thing, which was, you know, because I was very soft pedaling some of the advice because I knew, you know, I was dealing with a comic and his special. You know, so I just wanted you to know that it wasn't me trying to bust you, and you were like, "What? You know, what possible agenda could you have?"
Yeah, it's like we really can't put 35 Lorne Michaels jokes in to the special. So I think now. I do think that I've allowed, you know, what they call self-sabotage. I know that when there's been pressure on things in my life, I've gotten angry or gotten mad, or it's not like I want to sabotage myself. So I'm not saying I'm the easiest person in the world to get along with, but I find it very hard to deal with people who have that Louis C.K. it's my way or the highway.
Right.
Unless they're like David Lynch.
Right.
I mean, it obviously works for people like the Sopranos guy.
But I come at it from a different way because I really did, you know, because he was doing something that that from at least the outside is like, wow, what a great, you know, like when he made his deal with FX, I think he forwent a bunch of money in order to have the control he did.
Right.
You know, and that's the kind of shit I love, you know.
Yes.
I would do that deal in a second. And the idea of having my own show that, you know, that I'm doing all the stuff on sounds really fucking great to me, you know. That sounds like a lot of fun. Even starring in it would be fun, but that's not the most fun part of it to me.
Yeah.
So I really admired that he had pulled off that deal for himself, you know. The whatever you think of the show, I thought the show for the most part was interesting and good. Not hilarious, but he took big swings at things, and I thought that was cool. I like people who throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks, you know.
Right.
You know, so all of that to me was really, really attractive and appealing. But I do agree it can become a total, you know, clusterfuck, and a total, you know, circle jerk is a better word.
It is a better word.
You know.
Yeah.
And it totally can. And then you know, but I also think it's his platform, it's his money, you know. he's making the choice to go, I'm going to make all these decisions and I'm going to take all the risk for it, you know?
That's true. Well, but I think the thing that bothered me that I could, early on was like.
And by the way, thanks for tricking me into defending Louis C.K.
No, but have we ever talked about that he gave you feedback once, or we haven't talked about that?
I don't know if we talked about it on the air. I think we talked about it all.
Okay, so he told you, can we talk about it?
Sure.
So he said to you, he came up to you, I'm going to give you the other side of how I see that story.
Okay.
Okay? But you tell me what happened.
Okay, so I was doing a show at Largo years ago. And it was like it was with Dave Gruber Allen, and I think it might have been even a Naked Trucker show. So I'd already played like an Elvis Costello song, playing guitar and been part of skits and stuff. And so I'd already established myself on stage, which is just backstory. And then I went up and did a stand-up set, and I hadn't done stand-up in a long time, and I had my notes, and I was like, I was super apologetic about my set, you know.
My style.
Yeah, not even. It wasn't even that confident apologetic. You know, it was just kind of, I was backing off stuff. I just wasn't selling stuff with conviction. And that, you know, and I felt that as it was happening, you know. Good jokes, I thought, you know, but poorly delivered. And so Louis C.K. was in the show, and he was prepping for a special, so he did like an hour at the end of the show. But afterwards, he's like, he comes up to me and he basically, you know, he just started lecturing me about, you know, what the hell you have great jokes and you're being a pussy, basically is what he said, you know. What, you know, people already saw you. You were already cool to them. What the hell, you know, why are you being a pussy? Basically
right.
Is what he said, which, you know, I was sort of flattered that he gave a shit.
Right.
And B, as a performer, I knew he was 100% right. It was a conclusion I had sort of come to already.
Right.
You know, but it was totally unsolicited. It wasn't like, what do you think? It was totally just him coming up to me and blurting it at me, you know?
So when
honestly, I kind of thought it was, I took it as a sign of respect, honestly.
Right. And I think that also, you're not me, and I would probably be more hypersensitive or something. I think you're more secure I think you're more secure as a person maybe than I would be. I don't know if I'd react well to that, but what I'm saying is, regardless of how you reacted to it, I think it's also part of his shtick. His shtick is to be the alpha male.
To be instructive.
He's
yes.
in control. Yeah. He knows the secrets of comedy. He changes his material every year. He does this. He does that. And I think that that's the pretentious part of the fact that he is hilarious. I never thought that Louis C.K. was as hilarious as all my friends did.
Right.
But he has made me laugh over the years really hard. But there's another thing that's manipulative. So I don't think that I think there's no separation between the stuff he was doing, the stuff that he ended up doing and getting in trouble for. I sensed, not that he was going to do that, but I did sense issues with him.
I mean, I've said this before, I think on other podcasts too, where to me, the whole Louis C.K. thing is like, it's like 3 degrees past what you thought he was capable of. I mean, it's not far, you know, he already made everybody picture him masturbating in
right.
his act, you know, and in his show, you know. So it wasn't like this completely out of character thing. It was like I said, like 3 degrees past what you thought
yes.
Louis C.K. was capable of, you know.
Right.
You know, and that might be the thing that saves him too, you know, but I, you know, yeah. I mean, I think he obviously had some pathology that he needed the world to see that thing in him.
Yeah. And I think, you know, separating it from, because I was going through this whole thing this last weekend, like, you know, should I be doing, like I did this joke. I said, you know, some critics have said that nobody has exposed themselves in such a genius way as Louis C.K. did. You know, I was doing jokes about that. And I was doing jokes about that. I was like, oh, maybe I should go easy on him. I don't have any desire to go easy on him.
You don't have any obligation to go easy on him.
And the stuff where I would want to go easy on him would because I think he inspired fear is what I think he did. I think, because I said this on a show right after it happened on the Majority Report, and it got kind of uncomfortable because we were all guys. But basically, I was saying, like, I understood why they were getting uncomfortable because we were talking about sexual harassment and all this kind of thing. But I was saying that after I did my speech in Montreal, he came to see me in Toronto backstage, and he did a guest set. But I think he came to intimidate me.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why I think I'm a different person now is just like in the old days, I would either think I was right or I was wrong. Now I'm able to say, yeah, you were probably right about that. I mean, my instincts about him that I thought, oh, no, that's just your jealousy. That's just your envy. No, I was picking up on a real thing.
Right.
You know, I just think it's interesting. I think it's interesting because it's just, to me, it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to know if I want an award or something. I think I want an award. Don't you think so?
If this is just, can we just say I told you so and move
No,
on?
but no. I wanted to maybe have a Schadenfreude award.
Yeah.
What is it about me that that's like, God damn it. You're welcome, world. I did it again.
Know. Let's look at Trump's Twitter feed and see if it matches up any.
Anyway, you can take any of that out. Which you take out most of my funny stuff. I've noticed.
Yeah, I think everyone would notice that.
But the thing is, getting back to the sexual harassment thing, the fact that he was able to inspire fear in those around him is I'm not saying there's a one-to-one relationship between that and the sexual stuff, but you really can see how I couldn't imagine using. I was a horny single guy, but I couldn't imagine using I'll use the threat of a job to sleep with this person. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Like that's the disturbing thing. That's the thing where when I saw on the Access Hollywood tape, I'm not even talking about Louis, but I saw on the Access Hollywood tape, I actually was creeped out like I'd never been creeped out before because I'm not a woman. I've never seen, since no one's ever objectified me that I know of like that.
Right.
But you can just feel the creepy power thing and the abuse and the using your position.
Right. And the 12-year-old boy.
Who's 12-year-old boy?
I'm just saying that energy is mixed up in all of that.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
So
that power is being used to indulge that 12-year-old boy is what I'm saying.
Right. So anyway, that's that. I'm great. I should get an award. I saw what Jimmy Fallon was. I saw Jimmy Fallon. Do you think I should go into like I'm the master?
I think Andy Kindler's Scornfield. I'll wish you into the Scornfield.
Into the Scornfield. Well, I think does Sharpling use that? I don't know. I'll have to see.
No, we've used it on the show.
Okay, so Sharpling, I don't think I think Sharpling's is the hate pit. Stick him in the hate pit.
Andy Kindler wishes you into the Scornfield. You can see it in the many memes about it. That's right. He doesn't pay attention.
Now that's what I feel terrible about. I really do feel terrible about many things. And one of the things I feel terrible about is that I haven't been promoting the show enough, but I'm so excited about the reactions to the show. It seems like people listen
and write in. It's fantastic.
And we can't.
In fact, we have a bunch of people asked if they wanted requests or questions.
Okay, let's do it.
We got a bunch. Play some oldies, says Jacob Jackman. That's not. That was just smart ass. That was just him.
That's just a general joke. I like that joke. I'm not going to
more about Andy's musical career, says musician David Gogo.
Is it in? Did David Gogo? Oh, I know David Gogo. Did David Gogo put quotes around career?
No, he did not. In fact, he put 2 exclamation points at the end.
I wish I could go on and on about my music career.
What name all the bands you were in?
I was in a band in college. It was called Silver Dagger, which was based on some Joan Baez song. I don't even know what it was. It's a terrible name.
Right.
What were we trying to say with it? Then I was also merging traffic for a week.
Merging traffic?
But I never played out under that name. I never played anywhere that much. Then I was the Visitors.
Right.
That could be the worst. But I do think the worst was Transfusion. because we were claiming that we were going beyond fusion.
Wow.
And
Back
but
to
what did everybody
three-chord
else
rock and
think?
roll.
Everybody else thought it was a heavy metal band. How could you not think transfusion?
Right. But was it a jazz fusion?
We didn't. We couldn't play jazz fusion to
couldn't
save our
imagine you playing
lives.
fusion.
So how could we transcend it?
Spyro
It'd be like, yeah, I'm taking Steely Dan one step further. No, you're not. You couldn't play the lead of the Steely Dan if you listen to it. Unless I had that guitar player hero thing.
All right.
So those were the names of the bands. And the career, the only thing I've learned about the career, because I talked about it on the show, is I learned that the only thing that was wrong was me hating myself. That was what was limiting my music, quote, career.
Yeah.
And I just don't think you can hate yourself into a good song.
I don't know if that's true, but usually you end up committing suicide at 27, if you can.
That's true. I mean, I'm sure there's people, like Randy Newman always talks about how he hates to write.
Yeah,
So-
and he's pretty self-loathing too.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
can be
he's proud.
yeah.
He's proud of himself too.
But he knows, I think, that he's a
one
great
of us.
writer.
He's one of us. I think he's he gets proud and self-loathing.
Yeah.
Casanova Frankenstein asks Andy, did you really perform somewhat recently at a club called Smalls near Detroit? If so, how did that go? And I can't believe I missed it.
I did perform at Smalls near Detroit, and I think it went really great. But I'm concerned because I don't remember anything anymore. This is why, again, you have to keep a careful record of what's happened to me. I remember this tour that I
You
was
actually
on.
have done pretty well tonight, by the way.
Yeah, tonight. Well, I have an IFB in my ear.
Oh, good.
And
Whatever it
Susan,
takes.
Susan is feeding me.
Look at the knot in his tie. That's what they told me at my bar mitzvah when you
got nervous?
When you had to like talk to the rabbi addresses you. They said, "Look at the knot in his tie."
Because
And I
he's
was
so.
like, I think I can pull off eye contact. I really do.
Why? They thought he was like a powerful figure?
Well, yeah, well, because kids don't want to make eye contact. They want to
Oh.
give the appearance of giving eye contact.
I think that's a weird suggestion.
Also from Casanova Frankenstein, Jelvis, will there be a DVD release if I Need You to Kill? And did you remember to dial 91 on your cell phone?
I don't remember that part.
That's a joke from last week. Don't worry.
What's the joke?
Before each show, I dial 91. Just,
To get ready?
yeah. So no DVD release. It'll just be download on iTunes.
There's no way that if they want to buy a physical thing.
As
they
far as
can.
I know, there isn't.
But it is on vinyl.
On vinyl, yes. On iTunes, on Google, on Amazon, and on in-demand download.
Right.
Pay-per-view. All right. Let's see what else.
This is exciting.
Joel Madison asks, when are you having your first guest?
Well,
who we've pledged will be Joel Madison.
Joe Madison will be our first guest. I don't know if he will be our first guest because you know what? He has to bring something to the table. No, I'm kidding. He's going to be on the particular show, though.
Yes,
in the new year.
December. I thought it was in December.
Oh.
I think he thinks it's in December.
Oh, I'm not going to worry about it. I mean, I said if not the next. Oh, I said maybe the next one. Yeah, okay.
Here from Emilio Fox, who I know went out and saw you in New York.
Oh, is he the guy who said he's listened to every episode of Thought Spiral?
He might be.
Yes.
He might well be.
He was excited. When I see someone excited about Thought Spiral, and you know how I promoted it this time?
Yeah.
As people were leaving, I hopped back on stage and went, I also have a
That's some
podcast.
showcraft.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not forgetting it.
Emilio Fox says, when looking back on each of your careers, during what period of time were you the happiest?
I mean, I hate to say this, but I'm happy. I am the happiest I've ever been right now. And I know that people will say that I don't want my own show. People go, I'm happy not having a show, but I really am happiest I've ever been right now. I love what I'm doing. I love stand up. I'm not hungry for other things. I'd love to be in a movie, but it's not pulling at me like it used to pull at me.
Right.
So I would say right now, and then the other time might have been the first few years of stand up were pretty. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe college with all the LSD. How about you?
Does that count as your career, though?
No, I mean, I'm trying to remember when they were like, to me, college was like a magical wonderland. I had no idea it was going to be. I was away from my parents. It was a party. So it felt like I was almost in the 60s.
Right. For me, it's probably a split between, like you said, the first few years of stand-up. Because for me, it was like I started when I was 15, as we've covered. But it was like saved my life, basically. You know, it was like I really felt like high school was prison, and to have this whole world that somehow accepted me as like a peer right away, and a thing and an identity that I could take on as comic. You know, it was huge for me. And then it was just a really good time. I just saw an old friend who I hadn't seen in years the other day from that time, and
what year was it?
I started in '87.
See, I started in '84, but regardless, it was a very exciting time in general for stand-up.
Yeah, you know, and I was doing sets like, you know, every night, and you know, and Minneapolis was a great town to do stand-up in because there was just tons of stage time and audiences that would sit through fucking anything and be supportive, and
it felt new. It was
it was just a really exciting time, and there was genuine camaraderie, and it was, you know, it was great. And then the last 10 years for me, when I stopped writing TV and started making shit of my own.
Oh, okay.
Like both Cinematic Titanic, where it was all self-funded and generated, and then these two movies have been creatively like, and doing stand-up again in a way that I feel like feels like me now, you know. It's been, growth-wise, this past 10 years has been the best.
Right, although
I haven't been able to sort of put it together to quote unquote make a living. But
so, because I would say from talking to you off camera,
might
even on camera, that you sometimes go through emotional roller coasters. Sometimes,
I get. I mean, I'm kind of at one of those spaces right now where it's just like I don't quite know what the next thing is, and it makes me a little edgy.
Why don't you try a podcast?
I should.
That would be a good thing.
Yes, that's adorable. But yeah, so that was a good question.
That was a good question.
Perush says more singing. Also finish a story from a random previous test show. Here, how about this? How do you, someone asked, you mentioned that you are friends with Flight of the Conchords guys at one point, and someone wanted to hear more about that.
The Flight of the Conchords, I, in many ways, am I am Ricky Gervais. I could be Ricky Gervais if I didn't have a little bit of self-awareness. I could be the guy who goes, I'm the greatest guy ever. Yeah. So I, on one level, claim to have discovered Flight of the Conchords. And I know I didn't. But in my mind, I saw them somewhere, and I put them on the alternative show in Montreal, and they were so amazing. And then they exploded after that. So I felt, so there was part of me that was like, yeah, that was the set that did it. But of course that's ridiculous. But I do like being an early adopter of somebody. Like,
right.
Hey, I was love them. I love both of them, and I have a relationship with Jermaine on Twitter, which is fun. I mean, I'm telling you, Twitter to me is like, if you say, oh, well, don't get too excited if someone like Jermaine follows you, forget it. He's following. If he ever unfollows me, I'll cry. But I loved because I love their music, and I love their show too. And it's been a long time since there's been funny music that I really loved.
Right.
I loved Zappa as a kid and Alan Sherman.
Right.
But I thought they were really took an angle on it that was very entertaining.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I do know them. I know them. They're friends of mine. Huh? All right. Huh?
Alicia 17 says, no requests, just thanks for doing the podcast.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's just nice.
Well, thank you.
Casanova Frankenstein again. Hypothetically, if a fan is attending one of your shows and does not have marijuana, is wax an acceptable substitute?
Yes.
For a show gift? Yes.
Yes. No, hypothetically though, right?
Hypothetically, of course.
If they can, is he saying he's going to bring wax to the show?
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, I'm already thrilled about this idea. But my question to you, Josh, is:
yes,
Do you remember hash oil when you were younger? You can cut all this out if you don't want.
I had hash oil when I went to Canada. Because for a while, that was like the only weed that was in Canada when I was doing stand-up there.
And did you get high from it?
Yeah.
Did you ever have hash?
Yes.
Some hash I had was terrible, but some hash I had was great. I thought that's what all this vaping was going to be like. But the only one that gets me really high, I'm thinking, is the dab, which I think can kill you. Dabbing. You know what it is?
Yeah.
It's a blowtorch.
Right.
And it's so.
Well, the blowtorch is to heat up metal, and then you touch that metal to the wax or extract,
right.
or whatever.
The wax should be stronger, but you said you don't. It doesn't do anything for you. These things. It does or doesn't.
Well, I haven't tried dabbing.
How about wax?
I hear dabbing is if you want to get super
I got
high, dabbing is the thing.
I was also emceeing the show. That was a good choice.
Yes. Good.
Do you know it's coming up? The first is coming up. It's here. Almost here.
What is?
Andy Kindler walks into how many Jews walk into a legal pot place?
Oh, the 1st of January.
Oh.
Yes, it's going to be fantastic.
Is there anything that could derail it besides Jeff Sessions?
I don't think so. I think the train has left the station.
I can't wait.
I'm very excited. Well, it's not going to be any different for me.
Well, sometimes you give off the vibe. You ever hear of Ram Dass's book, Be Here Now?
Yes.
I love that book. His guru, at one point, took all this acid. If you believe the story, I do believe the story. Took all this acid and it didn't affect him at all.
Yeah.
Because he was already high. So that's how I see you. That's how you present yourself as a drug taker. Nothing gets through. You could triple the amount that you use for somebody else.
It takes something mighty powerful for me to let go of reality.
So,
like I am pretty rooted
right
in the real world, I found.
So I think me trying
but
to
I've never done acid.
Oh.
I've done mushrooms, but I've never done acid.
And mushrooms never had a bad time. I know you had that one time.
Yeah, we had a terrible time, but
it
wasn't.
It never made you paranoid?
No.
Has pot ever made you paranoid?
Not paranoid in the way that, I mean, it's made me anxious.
Yeah.
But it's not paranoid in the way that some people get paranoid.
I got a full-on panic attack from it once.
Did you?
And I don't know what it was, and I realized, once you realize it's not going to kill you, I will tell people, unless you're smoking pot that has mostly paraquat, which I don't even know if they ever sprayed on the pot.
Yeah.
But for years, people go, you think there's paraquat on that?
There's Agent Orange.
You really can't. I don't think you can kill yourself smoking pot or eating pot, even though you can get sick.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
So maybe that should be our. Are we going to have sponsors when it's legal here?
I gotta believe there's going to be there's got to be a lot of pot sponsored podcasts at this point.
I would like to be one.
Well,
and what about how's our merch going?
I have a phone meeting with Alex about it tomorrow.
You do things.
Hopefully, next episode we might have some news.
I saw Alex in New York.
Yeah,
and it was a lot of fun.
Was it? I
love seeing him, and he does this thing where he said, "Here's Alex. Alex, I just found out I have a brain tumor. Okay, but can you call in at 2:15 to the Feldman show? I just told you I have a brain tumor. No, that's cool. No pressure. He wanted me to come in the city.
Yeah.
And I wanted to too, but when I go back to New York, if it's once a year, it's all the family. It's all the family, Josh.
Face you just made.
Now, I don't know if Minnesota's different, but
Josh, it's all the family.
Well, I'm in Queens. You want to leave Queens?
Why would anyone ever want to leave Queens? Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
Songs that made the hit parade.
I'm going to nip it.
You're not going to do it?
No.
Guys like us, we had... Who wrote that? That's a great song, but it's not a parody song, right?
No.
It's a song written by a pro-American guy or something.
I guess so.
And you knew where you were then. Girls were girls.
Who you were then.
Who you were then. Girls were girls and men were men.
Right.
Mister, we could use a man like Herbert Hoover again. He didn't need no welfare state. Everybody pulled their weight.
Our old LaSalle ran great.
Now you're doing
it took
this.
me years to figure out what the fuck that meant.
Now, do you know that they recorded it twice?
Yes, I've heard.
Damn it! I thought
I
I was
more than twice even.
I was Mr. TV, and you can hear Edith going, G.R.O. LaSalle ran great.
As a kid, I thought they were spelling something.
Yes.
G-R-O,
Yeah.
L. I don't know what they were doing.
But that's. Do you know the show continued on after Rob Reiner left?
Yeah.
Is it Rob Reiner?
Yeah.
And Sally Struthers left.
Yes.
And it was. I just watched a couple of those shows. They're amazing. It was still amazing.
Yeah.
They adopted a girl.
Danielle Brisbois.
Yeah, she was amazing. And they find out she's Jew. I'm telling you, my wife and I have cried from a couple of episodes of All in the Family recently.
Yeah. And then she stayed on for Archie Bunker's place.
Was it first
But Edith died.
in real life? She died.
No.
Oh, she left the show.
Yeah.
Why'd they have to have her? I don't remember her being dead. I just almost threw up.
You just threw up and swallowed it.
Oh, that was not. See, I've had a lot of indigestion
If
recently.
only we were a vlog.
But that's amazing. But when she first entered the show, you're saying it was still All in the Family for a little while, right? Danielle.
Yes.
Yeah. But they're dealing with issues.
Steffi, what was her name? What was the name of the character?
I think it was Steffi.
Yeah.
It's still amazing to me that show, I mean, it holds up. There's no deterioration. Any show you watch 20, 30 times in a row. I mean, I've watched some of those episodes so many times. But except for that, I love that the thing I love about it was you knew it was like a play, kind of. Like you didn't think, oh, this is a real house.
Right.
But you bought the concept of this being in front of a live studio audience and being presented like a play. I kind of loved it.
Yeah.
Now, I guess you could say, Andy, this isn't the most profound observation I've made. All in the Family's a great show.
But 40 years later, it has a certain newness.
And do you agree with me about it?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great show, and it is. I mean, it does hold up, but it holds up as a piece of its time.
Right.
It's not like you can take the scripts and make it now. It doesn't hold up in that way, but it holds up as this snapshot of the 70s in a lot of ways.
And the other thing that it did,
I mean, and amazing the shit that they got away with that they couldn't now, but
right, because they did get away with, it wasn't, I don't even know if you could say get away with, the jokes that they would do, you could say, like Bill Cosby, of course, who cares, but at the time he didn't like the show.
right.
He criticized it because he thought that they were getting laughs, gratuitous laughs, under the guise of, this guy's a bigot.
Right.
But I think
they were.
But I don't think it was gratuitous.
I think it was both, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it was in character, but at times it was gratuitous.
I agree. Well, no, I never felt it was gratuitous as a kid. I've never had that reaction to it.
As a kid, it's a whole different.
Well, no, I was
ballgame.
18. I was old. I was 18 or whatever. But no, I'm saying when I watch it today, I can see in my own act if I talk about. I know if I'm going to talk about the Holocaust or something.
But I'm not talking about stand-up. I'm talking about sitcom television.
I felt that the validity, the interesting thing that they did, which maybe was gratuitous, but it worked for me, was it gave the message that not every prejudiced person was a horrible human being.
Right.
I don't think that was a bad message.
Yeah, but it's not the message that you purvey these days.
But I've had people in my life who I've known people in my life who are like my grandparents were prejudiced.
No, I mean, but I'm saying you tend to you condemn people whole cloth for being a bigot.
Well, maybe if they were funnier. Well,
And we do in society now.
we do, but like,
you know, so I'm trying to figure out how valid that particular message is.
well, I remember having a discussion with Kumail Nanjiani, who I love. I saw that movie. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
The Big Sick. I think he's great. I think he's a great actor, and I think he's hilarious. But I was in Australia with him and his wife, and I just said, you know, Rickles is the king. And, you know, we're just talking about it. And then he was like, thought I was kidding in a way.
Yeah.
And it was for the first time I realized, oh, I guess if you aren't used to Don Rickles, it could just kind of stick out that he's saying terrible
Right,
things.
just an old racist.
Right. But I think that his prejudice, I'm not justifying it, but he was funny within that character.
Yeah, I mean, he had the Don Rickles loophole. You know,
Yes.
he got grandfathered in. You know,
Right.
and some others did too. You know,
And there are still people, if you trust them, who can be like Rickles, that you would like.
well, the key is being unapologetic.
Right.
Honestly, you know, and not wavering from that unapologeticness. You know, because once you start wavering about it and acting like you think it's wrong what you're doing,
yes,
then people start getting in those cracks.
yeah, but he did he did an apology at the end of the show and the song,
Yeah, but-
the I'm a nice guy.
Yeah,
but
but
I
that
saw
was-
him once with Denzel Washington, right? And I love Denzel Washington, but I think of Denzel Washington as a very serious guy.
Right.
And Rickles just comes saying to him, "Hey, Denzel, how come you're not sweeping up?" Or whatever he was saying.
Right.
Denzel crying with laughter.
Yeah, and yes, because it was, you know, yeah,
'Cause he
it was,
loves-
it was
he-
hilariously inappropriate.
Yes, and he loved. You could tell that Don Rickles
Right.
was a good soul, which I know from. But my dad was friends with him, but it doesn't mean anything. But the point is,
when they were
why did I
8.
have to throw that in
They were
there?
8 years old.
What a moron I am. But that's why, I can't stand Lisa Lampanelli. It's not the same as Rickles to me.
Right.
Sometimes, because I used to do that bit about the old comedy station, and it's like, this one's from Lisa Lampanelli. I don't know if it is comedy. It sounds more like racism. You know, because some of her stuff is just like, oh, she doesn't like the Puerto Ricans.
Right.
So I think in some cases the gratuitous part of it so overwhelms the other part.
Right.
Are you worried? But I'm not necessarily worried that. I'm not one of these people who's worried that it's going to all become too PC or anything.
I'm not either.
Right.
That's part of the art of it. I mean, Segura says some shit that you can't say, you know, but he's hilarious, you know.
Right. Or Attell. Attell would be another example of someone who does this bit where he uses the word midget, which I would never use.
Yeah.
But he makes it that he's so angry at midgets in this bit. It's ludicrous.
Right.
So it really is social commentary about racism, but who knows what he really thinks. He's
Right.
just hilarious.
Right.
So that's what, yeah, you really can't make rules that way.
No,
Yeah.
but what, you know, the thing that they both have in common is total fucking commitment.
That's true.
You know, it's when you're hedging on it, when you're acting like you're naughty instead of like, you're, you know, that's when you show weakness, you know.
Well, I think like for me, I'm more sensitive to thinking of, am I dealing, like I'll give you an example. When I think back about the speech this summer and I said, Steve Harvey, I said, Steve, I'm not Richard Pryor Harvey. I kind of felt like there's a little bit of me looking at him thinking he's imitating Richard Pryor,
Yeah.
that he might not be imitating Richard Pryor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I felt after, didn't get that big a laugh. I felt after like, that is not, it's not, I'm not a racist, but there's something prejudiced sometimes about the blind spots that you have.
Right.
So this is something I've always thought about him. I always thought he was trying to be like Richard Pryor, but I think I'm completely wrong.
Well, I mean,
I think he's just terrible.
that could be it.
And Richard Pryor is the greatest.
Just a pale imitation. Or a pale,
But I don't think
a pale comparison.
I used to think he was trying to be like Richard, but I don't see any connection between how they deliver material, what they talk about, or anything.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's as much Cosby as he is,
Right.
you know, in terms of how he plays on TV, you know.
And Richard Pryor,
the mugging and the slow burns and the.
I can't. Kenan Thompson on Saturday Night Live does the greatest impression
Yeah.
of him. It's like I cannot figure out why he's entertaining Steve Harvey.
Nor can I.
I can't even identify the jokes.
Yeah, no, it's just it's a rhythm.
And he has 10 shows,
A lilt.
Josh.
It's a lilt.
He has like 10. I turn him on in the morning. He's on.
Total confidence. Again, it
That's
goes back
true.
to total commitment and confidence.
But I don't think he'll ever get. So someone was telling me, did you tell me you understood why he wrote that thing to his staff? I don't think that was you.
No.
I mean, I can't think of anything worse than what he wrote to his staff.
No. And I can understand him feeling those things, but to not have the sense of tone.
Yes.
You know.
Don't look at me. Don't speak
Right.
to me.
I mean, there is a way to write that letter.
Yes.
In a way that's acceptable, meaning, hey, I don't mean to be rude, but
I can't focus.
I need 20 minutes before the show and 20 minutes after without being interrupted. You know?
It's just like John Kelly when he came in to become chief of staff. He stopped the Oval Office. People were just running into the Oval Office. Yeah. But he controlled that. And see how much better it is?
Right. The same guy who said last week, I don't pay any attention to the president's tweets. Well, then what the fuck are you doing?
I think he's as bad as Trump because he lied about that Democratic congresswoman.
Yeah.
He's like I think he's a liar.
Steadfastly wouldn't apologize or
he wouldn't apologize, and he hates immigration. I think he's a racist. I don't like that he's hiding behind his I'm a general. This is what you don't want.
Is he the lovable racist like you were talking about before?
But what I am saying is that, and this is a tribute to Carol O'Connor, they were able to switch the tone. Like there was a whole episode about they found out she was Jewish.
Right.
I was crying by the end of the episode. You could say it was manipulative. You could say it was gratuitous, but I bought that there could be someone like Archie who could change about some of those things.
Right. Well, like the New York Times, like the Nazi in the New York Times article. He loves Seinfeld. He goes to Walmart.
Yeah.
He has a wedding.
What did you think? I have not read that whole article. I read half it. What was your take on it?
My take was that they totally. I understood their rationale for writing it, but it was so apologetic and so not not mindful of the fact that nope, still a Nazi.
Still a Nazi.
I understand the point of the banality of evil sort of thing, but you need the evil part in there when you're talking about it. Yeah,
I'm not supposed to like him more because he was a vaguely leftist musician.
Right. Or he tolerated Jewish sitcoms,
Because it's not at the end of the thing, we're not your father's Nazis. We don't like Jews, but we live and let live. His thing is, we're not your father's Nazis. I am a Nazi. I would kill a Jew. Right. But I also enjoy Seinfeld and walks on the beach.
Right.
People got mad about that.
Ooh, they got mad, yeah.
New York Times has some problems with itself.
Yeah.
They covered the election horribly, anti-Hillary, the election. But I didn't even want to get into it. Josh, stop trying to drag me.
Let's
let dead dogs lie. Why would you let a dead dog lie?
I don't know. I'm waiting there for you to come back and admit that you ran over it.
Don't say that to me. I'm obsessive compulsive. Look at you. There is a little bit of a devil. There's a devil in you.
I'm a shithead. Deep down, I'm a shithead.
No, but you're a lovable guy. You hide it very well.
Thank you.
Now you have me thinking, did I ever hit a dog?
I know.
And what did Casey Kasem, was he upset about on that one?
Coming out of a goddamn dead dog's out of a slow tube? What the?
I wish everybody blew like O'Reilly and Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
And I think
everyone rolled tape.
And Lawrence O'Donnell, I think there's one of him.
That was a good one, yeah.
And I say to myself, I would hope I could never be caught. Yelling like a maniac. But then maybe that's my thing. Like, no, I'm human. They're human. But it looks so crazy when it's really so does. Great. It's Buddy Rich.
Yeah.
It's so great. Oh, Ray Charles, too.
Ray Charles is a good one. Yeah.
Where the guy's quitting on stage or something. He's like, that's okay, folks. He's drinking. I think he kicked somebody out of the band or something.
Yeah. And there's ones where it's like if someone was singing along and he's like, that's my, he like stopped the thing.
Or Van Morrison would turn around. He doesn't. He turns around sometimes.
Yeah, he leaves the stage when I saw him. Like more than once, and has a guy just take over his vocals.
By the way, if you're feeling down, I recommend, here's Kindler's pick for the week, is watch...
It has to be my movie. Only picks this week.
Oh, no, your movie's the pick, but I'm saying, if you're feeling down, watch some of those Traveling Wilbury songs that were recorded, like The End of the Line and Handle Me
With Care.
Yeah, and I think Roy Orbison died in between the two of them because they only have a picture of Roy Orbison.
For the second album.
Right. But when you see these guys... It's just, I don't know, it's just pure joy to me.
Yeah.
Also, please, if you only buy one Christmas gift this year, if you only laugh at one thing, please make it Josh Elvis Weinstein's I Need You to Kill.
Yes.
Did I get the name right?
You did.
That's good.
Sounded good.
And the thing is, it's so great. It's a documentary about comedy. Now, many people would think, documentary about comedy? I think Andy Kindler. I'm sure he's in there. And you never even interviewed me.
Nope.
Oh, so at least I can't say like they normally do.
There's no cutting room floor.
Yeah, there's no cutting room floor involved. And I haven't gotten over it yet. But I will say this: I have seen this movie, and I love this movie. I love the the relationship between Pete Lee, Chad Daniels, and Tom Segura is quite amazing to have been captured on a film. You know what I mean? Like, you don't normally see that part of it, of stand-up, or even the stuff on the plane and things like that. I mean, I was really... I know that you wrote this out for me to say.
I know, you're doing good.
But Josh Elvis Weinstein is, I think, more than a genius. He is the Ken Burns of comedy documentaries. I recommend it. 4 stars, says Andy Kindler. Good?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay.
I'll fix it in post. Thank you. Please, obviously, please get the movie this week.
And you're going to be
tomorrow.
on Easy Street, right?
No.
When does the money start rolling in? I mean, in general.
I hope sometime soon. And write to us at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com. We appreciate all the emails we've been getting.
I apologize for not answering them more. I keep telling myself, and I do believe I will be a better person as we go along and more involved. Because if I wrote to a show, if I encourage someone to write to a show, I would be upset that they don't respond. So there's no excuse for my behavior.
Yeah,
in general,
it's okay, Andy.
Okay,
it's
the hell with it.
It'll be all right. But you read each email, right? That gets forwarded.
Yes.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
So that's a start.
That's a start.
And go to iTunes, please, and rate and review us on iTunes. Some of you have been doing that. We appreciate that. And again, buy my movie.
Buy his movie. The thing about it is,
I'll chill out soon on this.
I don't think you will. But I think this is the kind of thing that you're going to put as a scroll on anything else you do.
You know who should buy my movie? Jen Kirkman should buy my movie.
Jen Kirkman. Have I mentioned that she's a hilarious woman? And I don't say woman. People think that I'm saying as opposed to a man. Right. Believe me,
You didn't say for a woman.
No, but I did come
or
up with
a hilarious woman comic. You didn't say either. So.
Well, she talks about being a woman a lot, and I love everything she talks about. And I did come up with a joke that she enjoys, that she has a book called The Feminine Mistake. Right?
Funny. That's a good pun.
So, but also, Jen, really? Did you have to use a public for? You couldn't call me up or DM me? Really, Jen? Not getting enough play? I always like to give a little drama to it.
Little zets. We'll shout out to Dana Schwartz, too, another active participant.
Yes.
Thank you to all the people who are part of Thought Spiral World. We literally are Thought Spiral World. We have people all over the world listening to the show.
And do they call themselves Thought Spiralers?
I don't know if they've united under a banner yet.
That is a good idea, Josh. You could just start sending in money with your email. Is that what you're saying? Send in money, Google money.
Yes, send in some of that Google money.
Look, I'm not insisting on it, but I think you brought it up. It's a good idea.
Right. So thanks for listening, everybody. We will see you next week.
Mr. Weinstein.
Oh, Jesus.
Please come into my office.
Yes, Mr. Kindler.
Mr. Weinstein, do you realize you have gone over your time for your podcast? Mr. Weinstein?
I hope I can have it on account for next week, sir.
Well, I insist that I get better at this accent, Mr. Weinstein, or drop it.
Where was it you're from again?
I'm from England. Good night, everybody. Josh always claims that I want to get the last word in there. I just want to prove to him and to everybody that I don't have to be the last thing you hear on the podcast.
He does not have to be the last thing you hear on a podcast.
Exactly.
Not the last guy at all.
Right.
You'll never hear Andy Kindler making sure he's the last voice you hear on the podcast.
Third base.